Alright, today we're going to be looking at a deck I've been really wanting to make a little bit. It's based off survival. So, first of all, I was thinking between these two, see which one is better. I was looking at the mana value. We got Annie Flash, the veteran. She is Naya and three generic, Naya being red, green, and white. She is a 4/5 with Flash. When she enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you may return a permanent card, mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That is good. Thing I'm looking at though is because you can't, it says cast, so it locks out blinking and stuff. Also, she said whenever she becomes tapped, exile the top two cards of your library. May play those cards this turn. It's pretty decent. Probably we're just gonna have her as the deck. I've already decided to make Kitt Kanto the commander, but I was just trying to go through my thought process. My Anti Flash was thinking of her being the commander, but that keyword saying you may play those cards allows for lands to be able to be accepted into it. So I will probably just have her in the deck and not the commander, just to make sure. But the commander we're going to be going with is Kitt Kanto Mayhem Diva. She is a Naya, then again being the red, green, and white. One generic. She is a 3/3. When she enters, creates a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. At the beginning of combat on each player's turn, you may tap two untapped creatures you control. When you do, target creature that player controls gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn and goad that creature. I went with her because most of the survival, I think only one, which is a black survival creature, um, is what it's incorporated into the red, green, and white. Most of them that are survival are that. It's kind of a weird concept I'm going with. I just mainly wanted to get those survival cards from Dustborn into this because I thought they were super interesting. But I went with her because it allows me to get that tap outlet for the survival things because survival says after combat it does do the caveat of giving an opponent's creature +2/+2 and trample. But with goading that creature, what you could do is an easy way to get rid of triggers like Blood Artist because this is a red, green, white deck, so we are going to have some decently big creatures. I mean, straight up with just the commander, if we go like a Blood Artist on a person who has a bunch of death triggers and stuff, that can get their Blood Artist out the way if we need to because goading requires that creature to attack. But mainly what I'm gonna be doing is just looking at the recommendations a little bit just to see what is gonna pop up. What these recommendations do is it is Architect kind of does the work for you, helping you out, looking through all the stuff that the different kit commanders have. Some of these I just don't do for preference. Like for example, I do like incorporating Command Tower, obviously, Arcane Signet. I don't really like Jungle Shrine because number one, I play more high powered decks with my friends, family, all that. And that Jungle Shrine is just a tapped land and it doesn't have any keywords like the forest or the plains that I like. So I normally go for a triome kind of effect. Exotic Orchard, I don't personally like it. When I could just have it for a special land or just a basic land because it does heavily rely on your opponent. The worst thing you get is if they just don't have any of your colors. Like in this case, if someone was a mono black, then I would just have a colorless source as a land when I could just have a normal color I could have. So I'm gonna skip those. Canopy Vista, even though it has the Forest and Plains, I don't really like the two basic lands. Same with this Cinderglade. Path to Exile, good removal. Cultivate, I think I'm gonna be adding that, yep. Swords to Plowshares, getting that exiling to lock down some indestructible stuff, that's pretty good. Some of these stuff is just kind of like destroy target permanent. Some of these are just some really good generic cards. Boros Charm, let's look at this. It does give me indestructible. I might come back to that, don't see value in it right now. Path to Ancestry, even though it does enter tap, but isn't that bad because I do get a scry. But if I look, what's Cat Bar Druid? It's mainly going to be humans because Dustmorn survival stuff has a lot of humans. A lot of the tap things are requiring with humans. Might come back to that if I notice a lot of them are cat druids or whatever. Here's where I was going with the. It's not a triumph, but it's kind of like what I was talking about. This is kind of the triumph for Naya, even though it's Jetmir's Garden. I will like incorporating that. Farseek really like that. Gets that plains, island, swamp, mountain. Gets all the cards that I need. Only problem would be forests, but at that point, it's not that thing, not that important. Does allow me to get my special lands and stuff. Allows me to get Jetmir's Garden because it doesn't say plains. Um, Felidar Retreat. I'm not really thinking that, even though it's just some passive stuff. I want to focus more on the tap aspect of things. I don't really like these show lands that require you to reveal a forest or plains from your hand. I just rather some other things. Same with Game Trail. Grand Crescendo. Would be pretty decent if I have things that give me Convoke like that one. I think that's only creature spells though. It's an enchantment from Dustmore, and I might be adding that into here. Um, Artifact Mutation. Don't really like that with Aura Mutation. Don't really like those Stomping Grounds. Um, thing with these decks that I make, these are very prospective decks. I always plan on making and combining all the decks together. But not always the case. With these are more of just like thought processes of decks. Like I really enjoy making decks, testing them out with my friends and stuff. Make sure you always rule zero with your friends, like if you got proxies and stuff. But just for the sake of this, if I perfect world, infinite money kind of thing, I would be adding these shock lands. That's what they're called because you shock them in for 2 life. If you don't, then it comes tapped. Let's see, Beastmaster Ascension. Oh, when a creature enter. Oh no, when a creature attacks. Interesting. But a quest counter has 7 or more. Don't know if I'm gonna be doing that. I might be coming back to that. I think they're all focusing on more of the like token aspect of this maybe. Um let's see. Meta you control when you do target creature that player. Yeah, so that player has it on that player's combat. So I think it is more going into you're tapping things on your combat to make your own creatures goaded. I think that's why they're doing like Champion Lamble and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go that route. This has Convoke, so this allows me to tap my creatures other than her, because even though she does give me an outlet, I would rather not give in my opponents +2/+2 and stuff. Let's see, Rampant Growth, that's pretty good. Really enjoy that. Cabaretti Courtyard. Mountain Forest does not lock down for basic, not that expensive either, so that's actually pretty good. Eye of Oblivion. I'm not really expecting to make a lot of tokens. I might come back to that though. Nature's Lore. I don't really enjoy nature's things like this where it only locks down to a forest. I'm not going to be including this. I've been really mainly getting into things like cultivate or things that just give you basic lands in general. Because that allows you to get that land base if you're really locked down with forests. Because I've been in many situations where I have cards like Nature's Lore and stuff, and then I got all these forests and all my other land bases are screwed over for me. Sacred Foundry, another shock land. Seems like a lot of landfall with these people that make these stuff. But Skewed Swarm, not gonna do that because I'm not focusing on land. Let's see. Heroic Intervention. This is really good. in my opinion, I guess, it's all up to what you think. Oh, by the way, clifftop retreat, control mountain and plains. I love these kinds of lands. I would rather these lands over the ones that are too, basic, not mountains, too basic lands. Heroic intervention. I don't really like this in my, green decks. Really, it's even though it's a really good card, it's just personal preference. Um, Sun Petal Grove, that's pretty good. Sakura Tribe Elder. He's all really solid. 2/2 sack for a land. Um, I'll add him. Might cut him later for something else. Prosperous Partnership. Enters, create 2/1/1 green white citizen creature tokens. Actually makes the same creature tokens as my commander does. So maybe that could be helpful with other things. Really important, create a treasure token for tapping 3 untap creatures. Gives me that survival aspect. That's actually really good. Um, don't really enjoy that. Um, Actually, you know what I'm gonna be doing? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to this nice site called Strifefall. This allows you to look at cards you need. Like for example, I want survival. I'm gonna lock down my commander's colors and input that text. Make sure they're legal in Commander, because this is the kind of deck I'm making. Search for these options. Here we go. These are the kind of things I like, or I want for this deck. At the beginning of your second main phase is tapped. Flying counter, that's actually pretty good. Don't know if I'll keep that, because that is just kind of like a one-time thing. Cautious Survivor, gain 2 life, that's actually pretty good passive. I'll be adding that, so Cautious Survivor. Defiance, if I ever gave your second main phase, if tap Manifest Dread, that's actually pretty decent. Let's go on that. This deck is mainly just, more like a survival, subtype, which is pretty interesting. Um, I've made a couple other decks, but I think, I want, like, more like niche kind of things. I think this would be interesting. Beginning of your second main phase of Glimmer Seekers tapped. Draw a card if you control one. If you don't control a Glimmer creature. Oh, that's card draw. That's actually pretty good. It's called a Glimmer Seeker. It's pretty interesting. House Cartographer. It's tap, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Play into your hand the rest of your bottom of the library in any order. I do have a lot of green, so that does give me a lot of access to lands. A lot of these things are gonna be low mana value stuff, so I don't know about him, because it does take those cards, put them on the bottom of my library, making me not able to use them. Might come back to him. If Kona Rescue Beastie is tapped, you may put a permanent from your hand onto the battlefield. That is a very, very good survival. Um, Yeah, so this is another thing. It doesn't say the survival actual tag. Even if it does just say survival in the text, it will pop her up, even though it has nothing to do with tapping. Um, Reluctant Role Model is a very, very good survivor. He's rare for a reason. He is a very, very good one, allowing me to put counters on him and in when he dies. Um, Changing them to another target creature, and also after if I'm done with flying and lifelink, I can start just adding my own counters or beefing them up. It's pretty good. Rip Spawn Hunter. I've seen him. I thought he was pretty interesting. His tab reveal the top X cards of your library where X is its power. So him, okay. Put any number of creature and or vehicle cards with different powers from among them into your hand. Ooh, so that gives a lot of creatures in my hand. Why not? It's Frag Hunter. Oh, Spawn Hunter. My bad. See, that's what I like about Architect. It does kind of help you out if you do misname things. Oh, he has haste too. We're survivor, and it is 5 mana. Beginning of your second main phase is tap, put 3/1 counters. Ooh. To one target land. That land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature in addition to its other types. It gains haste until next turn. Um, I don't really like that. I'm not really into. I've seen decks that make lands into creatures. I just don't like the thought of losing your land base and possibly them dying because if someone throws something down like Blasphemous Act, 13 damage to each creature, killing all your lands. There goes your lands. I'm not really a fan of that. Savior of the Small. This is a good one. If he is tapped, return target creature card mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So even though my commander is 4, that allows me to return Reluctant Role Model too, and all my other things that are mana value 3 or less. So like when Reluctant Role Model dies, even though he transfers his stuff to other people, if I get Savior of the Small down, I can get him back from my graveyard, some recursion. That's pretty good. Let's see. Shrewd Storyteller. At the beginning of your second main phase, if he is tapped, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Can never go wrong with that. Just some buffing to my creatures, even though it's only one target creature. Um, Shrewd Storyteller. That is my bad. Let's see. Then the last one has the survival mechanic. Beginning of your second main phase, if he is tapped, exile up to one target creature card from a not creature. Exile up to one target card from a graveyard. Oh, he gets closer and has hexproof if there are 3 or more cards exiled by him. Hmm. Ooh, it's not a May though. So if I do get him tapped and I don't watch out, I might exile things from my graveyard that I don't want to exile. Might have to watch out for him. I'm gonna add him. He is a possible um cut maybe. Alright, so now what we can do is we can go back to the recommendations, see what we got here. Yep, add my land base, forest, mountain, plains. Always gotta have a soul ring in your decks. Some people might hate it, but at least you gotta have it. So nice. Scroll through what I've already talked about. Hmm, let's see. Ooh, Jetmir, Nexus of Rebels. Creatures I've seen him before. My brothers made him as a commander. It was more like a bulk deck kind of thing. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance as long as you control 3 or more creatures. Creatures you control also get +1/+0 and has trample as long as you control 6 or more creatures. So +2/+0, vigilance, and trample if you have 6 creatures. Then his last one, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have double strike as long as you control 9 or more creatures. So he's a really good ceiling. If you have 9 creatures, they get everyone gets +3/+0 and has vigilance, trample, and double strike. That's pretty good. I'm gonna add him for now. He is also a cat, so that'd be same as my commander. Um, I might add him, see how far I go into the token aspect, because a lot of these are more of buffing yourself or getting more things to my hand or something. Glimmer Seeker, even though it creates a token, it's only one because it's if you don't control a Glimmer creature, then you create one. So we'll see how it goes from here. Some more lands. 2 or more opponents. These are some really good lands. Um, I used to add them at first, but then I've gotten more into like just 1v1s and stuff. Um, Sometimes I do free for all with 3 people commander. Um, It's just kind of iffy sometimes. So, ooh, Amara Soul the Accord. She is a green and a white legendary creature elf. Whenever she becomes tapped, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. I will add that. Um, yeah, it gets into more of the tokens and stuff. That'd be actually pretty good. Generous gift, target permanent. It's pretty much the white version of Beast Within, which is the green version of the they both have one color and then two generic. Generous gift being the white one, Beast Within being the green one. Both destroy target permanent, and then one generous gift gives a 3/3 green elephant, whereas Beast Within gives a 3/3 beast. So virtually the same thing in hindsight. Rumor Gatherer, 2 white, and a generic. Let's see what he does. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under control, scry 1. Oh, some more of like creature entering. So a lot of people go more into the token aspect of her. So like tapping a bunch of tokens. Does it say up to? Let me read her real good. May tap two, so it's only two. I wonder why people go heavy into her tokens. Um, Arid Mesa. So Arid Mesa is a fetch land. Um, I could be adding these fetch lands. Don't know if I really want to. Um, we'll come back to it. See how our land base goes. I'll decide. Castle Ardenvale. Special land when this land enters tapped unless you control planes. Taps for white can pay 4 to tap and create a token. Don't think I will do that. Bosses tier 4. Enters with a number of 1/1 counters equal to 1 plus the number of creatures you control. Um, well, alright, guys, I'm going to probably just look through this. I'll get back to you when I finished all the cards, looking through everything. If I get off of this recommendation, going to my Scryfall tab, I'll probably go and do that. But see you soon. All right, I'm back. So, all I pretty much did was I looked through the recommendations, and I noticed a lot of them kind of ignored the aspect of tapping the creatures you control for them to do things, and more of just tapping random junky tokens to get that trigger off of the commander so that you can goad other creatures and then do things while goading. So all I did was I just went to Scryfall and typed in whenever a creature is tapped, then something happens or whatever. So I got to this. As you know, I added Blasphemous Act for a nice board wipe. Added Cultivate, Farseek, Kodama's Reach, Rampant Growth. All these just give you some lands, basic lands, special lands, anything. Um, Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere being tap for any mana your color's counter identity. Then I could sack it and draw a card. Halo Fountain's actually pretty good that I had. It is 2 generic and a white. I can pay a white, tap it, untap a tapped creature you control, create a 1/1 green white citizen creature token. Had that because I could untap my creatures and tap them again. So if I have things that say maybe not necessarily the survival subtype, but more of like, oh, whenever this creature is tapped, it does this. Um, I can pay 2 and tap it, untap 2 target creatures you control, and I can draw a card. Or I could pay 5 white, tap it, untap 15 tap creatures you control, and I can win the game. So That's another thing that I think is really good because that gives me a win con. Another thing that I really, really liked is Thousand Moon Smithy. It is two white, two generic. It's a legendary artifact. Whenever Thousand Moon Smithy enters the battlefield, create a white gnome soldier artifact creature token with this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of artifacts and or creatures you control. So what that allows me to do is since it says and or, it allows me to add up the artifacts I have plus the creatures I have to make that token as beefy as possible with its power and toughness. It does have this little special does have this special thing though, where it says beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may tap 5 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control. If you do, transform it. So that allows me to get that tap outlet that I need. And then it transforms into Barracks of the Thousand, which is a land. I can tap it for a white. And it says whenever you cast an artifact or creature spell, mainly the creature spell aspect, using mana produced by Barracks of the Thousand, create a white gnome soldier artifact creature token with the exact same thing with power and toughness equal to the artifacts and creatures I control. So that gives me some beefy tokens that I can end the game with, so that's really good. Um, I just fixed my land base. Didn't really add many lands, just added 10 of each basic land. I like to have even basic lands just because. Um, Steel Swords, Plowshares, Path to Exile, March of the Multitudes that I added. I did add the Cabaretti charm. It is Naya, so red, green, white. I can choose one. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control the target creature or planeswalker. That's one option. Another option is creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until turn. Then the last one is create 2/1/1 green white creature citizen creature tokens. So just some nice removal, nice finisher, nice just token generation whenever I need it. I have 4 enchantments. First is Quest for Renewal. Whenever a creature you control becomes tapped, you may put a quest counter on Quest for Renewal. As long as there are 4 more quest counters on it, untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. So what that allows me to do is that allows me to just tap all my creatures, get all the effects that I want in the world, and then not have to worry about blockers because on other people's untap steps, I untap all my creatures. Prosperous Partnership. We talked about this with the treasure token. Impact Tremors, a lot of these make tokens and stuff when they're tapped. So what Impact Tremor says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent, so nice way to finish it. Now, the Dustborn Room enchantment that I really, really liked because it says creature spells you cast have Convoke, which means I can tap them for either a generic or I can tap it for a color in that creature spell, but it has to be of that color. Which means, for example, say I wanted to cast Annie Flash the Veteran. It's 3 generic, a red, a green, and a white. So what I could do is I could either pay mana, tap 3 creatures to get that generic, or what I can do is say, let's just say for a good scenario, I wanted to pay 6 mana all in creatures. I can tap 3 random creatures, and then I have to specifically tap a creature that is red, a creature that is green, and a creature that is white. And each one of those creatures, if I am correct, will pay for the color cost. So what we can do is we can actually look at the specific ruling of this. So it says your creatures can help cast those spells. Each creature you tap while casting a creature spell pays for a generic or 1 mana of that creature's color. So you can. Another good thing is with this other side of the enchantment, which is Prop Room. Untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. So another effect like Quest for Renewal. Little tiny thing that how rooms work. When you cast a room, you cast one of its sides. And then when it's on the field, you can pay the mana value of that room to unlock the other side of the room. So that allows me to have both when they're on the field. Um, Mainly though, all of these creatures are just when they're tapped, we do something, or just things that say when they do something, tap creatures. Like for example, Siege Striker is pretty good. He is a white to generic human soldier with double strike. He's a 1/1 generically, but his ability makes him stronger. When Siege Striker attacks, you may tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Siege Striker gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature tapped this way. So, pretty much each creature I tap gives him an extra +2 damage and just 2 damage, which is really, really good because of the double strike. So that's a good game ender and stuff. And then, for example, I have ways of giving people trample when they're tapped and stuff, counters when they're tapped. Some people just tap for things just for generic value and stuff. But yeah, these all these decks that I make, either with these videos, just by my own and stuff, they are all available on Architect. All you gotta do is look up the title name, or you can just look me up, Trippy Slep on Architect. It is TRIPPYSLEP. I make a lot of decks, as you can see. I've had 31 decks already. I make just a bunch of decks just in my free time and stuff, but anyways, thank you for watching or listening or whatever. Um, but yeah, catch you in the next one.